When I first retired and started dreaming about RV life, I thought I had everything figured out. I had watched the videos, looked at the floor plans, and imagined endless sunsets and freedom on the open road. But there were a few things nobody warned me about. Not bad things necessarily, just things I wish someone had sat me down and told me before I made the leap. And if you're thinking about retiring in an RV, these 7 lessons could save you a lot of money, stress, and disappointment. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Randy. I cover RVs, the trucks that tow them, and everything in between for retirees who want to get this right. Glad you found us. Now let's get into it, starting with number 7. Number 7, RV life costs more than you think. I want to say this gently because I do not want to discourage anyone. RV life can absolutely be more affordable than a traditional retirement. But the financial picture looks very different up close than it does from a distance, and I wish someone had walked me through the real numbers before I got started. Fuel is the obvious one. I remember our first long stretch on the road. We were heading south in the fall, and I was feeling great about life. Then I started doing the math at the pump somewhere in Kentucky and realized we were spending more on fuel in a week than we used to spend in a month commuting to work. When you are moving a large vehicle down the highway, the fuel costs add up in a hurry. Most experienced RVers will tell you to build your fuel costs conservatively and then add a little more, because you will almost always spend more than you planned. Campground fees have also changed significantly over the past several years. What once cost $20 or $30 a night at a decent full hookup site now frequently runs $50, $60, or more at popular destinations. State and national parks fill up fast and often require reservations months in advance. The math of full-time RV living as a budget lifestyle depends heavily on where you stay, how often you move, and whether you are willing to use free or low-cost options like Bureau of Land Management land or state forests. Then there is maintenance. And this is the one that surprises people most because it is not a one-time expense. It is a constant presence. Tires on a large RV or tow vehicle are not cheap, and they need to be replaced on a schedule whether they look worn or not. Roof inspections and resealing, brake maintenance, appliance servicing, generator upkeep. I remember the first time I got a repair estimate that made me sit down for a minute. Nobody had mentioned that part in the YouTube videos. I am not telling you this to scare you. I am telling you this because the retirees who enjoy RV life most are the ones who planned for the real numbers and were not blindsided when the first big repair bill arrived. Budget honestly, build in a cushion, and the financial side of this lifestyle becomes very manageable. And speaking of managing things wisely, number 6 is something I had to learn the hard way. In front of an audience. Number 6, you don't need as much RV as you think. I remember backing into a campground in Tennessee years ago, pulling a rig that was, in hindsight, more than we needed. I must have pulled forward and started over 6 times while everyone waited behind me. Cars stacking up, people standing outside their sites watching. My wife sitting quietly in the passenger seat until she finally looked over and said, "Maybe we don't need this much RV after all." Looking back, she was right. She usually is. When most people start shopping for their retirement RV, they go big. Biggest slides they can afford. Longest floor plan on the lot. Every feature imaginable. I completely understand the impulse. You are making a major investment and you want to make sure you have everything you need. But the biggest RV is not always the best RV. It is sometimes the most stressful one. Maneuvering a 40-foot fifth wheel or a large Class A into a campsite that was designed for something smaller is a skill that takes time to develop. And while you are developing it, you are white-knuckling through campground loops, turning down sites you cannot navigate, and occasionally holding up a line of patient or not-so-patient fellow campers behind you. The storage question is also worth thinking through honestly. A bigger RV sounds like more storage, and in theory it is. But what actually happens is that the space gets filled. More room means more stuff, and more stuff means more weight, and more weight means more wear on your tires, your axles, and your tow vehicle. Experienced RVers almost universally learn that living with less is not a sacrifice. It is a relief. Many of the happiest full-time RVers I have met are in rigs that are smaller and simpler than what they started with. They downsized after a year or two and never looked back. Think carefully about how you actually plan to use your RV. Match the rig to the life you are going to live, not the fantasy version of it. Your future self and everyone waiting behind you at the campground will thank you. Before we get into the top 5, if this is helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. We talk about RV life and retirement around here every week, and I'd hate for you to miss what's coming. Now let's keep going. Number 5, maintenance never really stops. Nobody tells you that you will become strangely interested in tire pressure and roof sealant. 20 years ago, I could not have cared less about either one. Today, I check my tires more often than I check my blood pressure. That is just what happens to you out here. Here is a way of thinking about an RV that changed how I approached ownership. An RV is not a vehicle that you occasionally drive. It is a home that sometimes moves. And a home that moves is exposed to stresses and strains that a stationary home never experiences. Every mile down the road vibrates every connection, every fitting, every seam. That reality has consequences. The roof is the one I would put at the top of the list. RV roofs require regular inspection and maintenance. Sealants dry out and crack. Seams separate. And when water finds a way in, it does its damage quietly and invisibly until the problem is much bigger and more expensive than it would have been if you had caught it early. I learned this lesson on a trip through the Pacific Northwest. We had a stretch of heavy rain, and by the time we noticed a soft spot near the slide, we were looking at a repair that could have been avoided with a tube of sealant and 30 minutes on a ladder the previous spring. Get up on that roof twice a year. Look at every seam. It is not optional. Tires are another area where vigilance pays off. RV tires age even when they are not being used, and an old tire that looks fine from the outside can fail without warning at highway speed. Most experienced RVers replace their tires on a time schedule rather than waiting for visible wear. It costs money. It costs a lot less than a blowout at 70 miles an hour. The good news is that most of this maintenance is learnable, and there is a strong community of experienced RVers who share knowledge freely. The sense of confidence that comes from understanding your own rig is genuinely satisfying. But go in knowing that maintenance is part of the lifestyle, not an interruption to it. Number 4, downsizing is emotionally hard. This is the one people talk about least and feel most. When you decide to retire and live in an RV, the conversation naturally turns to logistics pretty quickly. Which rig, which campgrounds, which route. But before any of that happens, there is usually a house full of things that you have accumulated over a lifetime. And figuring out what to do with all of it is one of the most emotionally demanding parts of the whole transition. It is not just furniture and appliances. It is the things that carry memory. The dining room table where your kids did their homework. The bookshelf that has been in the same corner for 20 years. The boxes in the garage that you have not opened in a decade but cannot quite bring yourself to let go of. I remember standing in our garage one Saturday, going through boxes and finding a box of my kids' old report cards. I sat down on the floor and read through them for an hour. That was not a productive afternoon in terms of packing, but it was an important afternoon. The downsizing process forces you to sit with your life in a way that sneaks up on you. Give yourself grace during this process. Many retirees find a storage unit useful during the first year, not as a permanent solution, but as a way of giving themselves time to figure out what they truly need and what they are genuinely ready to release. There is no shame in a gradual transition, and if you are doing this with a partner, talk about it. Be honest about what is hard for each of you. The goal is to arrive at RV life feeling free, not pressured. Number 3, campgrounds fill up faster than you think. I thought retirement meant no schedules. Turns out I just traded office meetings for campground reservation windows. And honestly, the reservation windows are more stressful. If your vision of RV retirement involves pulling into a beautiful national park on a whim, setting up camp, and waking up to mountain views, I do not want to take that dream away from you. It is possible, but it requires more planning than most people realize going in. The most desirable campgrounds in this country fill up months in advance. Yellowstone, the Great Smoky Mountains, Acadia, Zion. These parks are enormously popular, and the reservation systems open months ahead of time. If you want to spend a week at one of these places during peak season, you need to be thinking about it in the winter for a summer trip. That is not an exaggeration. The same goes for popular snowbird destinations in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and the Southwest. The best spots go to people who plan early and reserve often. We learned this our first winter when we drove into a coastal Florida town expecting to find something and spent 2 hours on the phone before finding a site 40 minutes inland. The practical lesson is this: have a general plan for where you want to be and when, make your reservations as early as the booking windows allow, and then leave room in between for the unexpected stops and spontaneous detours that make RV life so memorable. The planning is not the enemy of freedom. It is what makes the freedom possible. Number 2. RV life isn't a permanent vacation. I say this with warmth because this was one of my own adjustments. When you first retire into an RV, the feeling of freedom is genuinely exhilarating. No schedule, no office, nothing but open road and possibility. And that feeling is real, and it is wonderful. But real life follows you down the road. Laundry still needs to get done. Grocery shopping requires finding stores in unfamiliar towns and figuring out what fits in a smaller refrigerator. Dishes still need washing. Bills still need paying. And then there are the unexpected days, the repair that grounds you in a town you had not planned to stay in, the bad weather that keeps you inside a space that feels smaller than usual, the afternoon when something makes a sound it has never made before, and you spend 2 hours watching videos and consulting forums trying to figure out if it is serious. I remember one week in particular where we had 3 things go wrong in a row. Nothing catastrophic, but the kind of week where you wonder if you made the right call. My wife made dinner in the small kitchen. We sat outside as the sun went down, and somewhere in that ordinary evening, the frustration just kind of dissolved. That is something I noticed about RV life. The hard days are real, but the good moments have a way of outweighing them. The retirees who love this lifestyle most are the ones who walked into it with clear eyes. They knew it was not a vacation. They knew it was a different kind of life, simpler in many ways, more demanding in others, and they embraced it on those terms. Once you do that, the lifestyle opens up in a way that is deeply satisfying. And that brings us to number 1. Number 1. The lifestyle is even better than I expected. One morning, I was sitting outside with a cup of coffee in Montana, watching the sunrise come up over the mountains. The light was doing something I did not have words for. Everything was quiet except for the birds. And I remember thinking, all those years of alarm clocks and rushing to work and eating lunch at my desk. This is what we worked for. This right here. I want to say something directly to anyone watching this who is still on the fence. After everything I talked about today, the costs, the maintenance, the emotional weight of downsizing, the planning, the days when everything goes sideways, I would do all of it again without hesitation. The freedom is real. Waking up and knowing that your day belongs to you. Having nowhere to be and nothing to do except enjoy where you are. That feeling does not get old. The friendships surprised me most. The RV community is one of the warmest, most generous communities I have ever been part of. People look out for each other. They share tools and tips and stories. Couples who were strangers at check-in sometimes end up traveling together for months. There is a camaraderie to this lifestyle that fills something up in you, especially in the years after a career ends and the daily social structure of work disappears. The simplicity is a genuine gift. When your home is smaller and your possessions are fewer, your mind gets quieter. You stop managing so much. What remains is the people you love, the places you are seeing, and the days you are actually living, and it turns out that is more than enough. And the places themselves. Pulling into a canyon at golden hour. Parking beside a lake so still it looks like glass. Waking up in a forest that smells like rain. These are not vacation memories. They are the texture of everyday life, and after a while, that becomes something extraordinary. And maybe that's what surprised me most. I spent decades working toward retirement thinking I was saving up for vacations. What I didn't realize was that I was saving up for a completely different way of living. And looking back now, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So those are the 7 things I wish I knew before retiring in an RV. The costs are real, but manageable with honest planning. The right-sized rig matters more than the biggest one. Maintenance is ongoing but learnable. Downsizing is harder emotionally than most people expect. Campgrounds require more planning than most people realize. Real life follows you on the road. And despite all of it, the lifestyle is worth every bit of it. Now I want to hear from you. What do you wish someone had told you before retiring in an RV? Or if you are still in the planning stage, what is the question that keeps you up at night? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If this helped you, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you never miss one. This community is full of people walking the same road you are. And that's worth being part of. None of us have this whole thing figured out. We're all just learning as we go, one campground at a time. Retirement goes by faster than we think, so don't wait forever to chase the dream. Travel safe, spend wisely, and I'll see you down the road.